You are most welcome for this series of lectures on autonomic nervous system. I will encourage you to make a comment or tap on the like button if you really like this video. But first, we just want to discuss what is normal on the autonomic nervous system before we look at the drug targets that are used to manage the disorders in autonomic nervous system. And generally, we want to see the map of nervous system in the human body. Now, the organization of the nervous system is in such a way that the nervous system is divided into central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Something that is peripheral is in the outskirts compared to what is at the center. So the central nervous system is at the center, but whatever is in the surrounding is actually the peripheral. So in the periphery is like something in the circumference. So the peripheral nervous system is divided into autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Somatic nervous system are fibers that actually directly serve or innervate the tissues and the cells, while the autonomic nervous system are further divided into the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. That is the brief branch, or that is the brief branching of the peripheral nervous system. So it gives us the subdivisions. While on the central nervous system, when it comes to central nervous system innervations or divisions, we have the brain. The central nervous system is divided into the brain and the spinal cord. While the spinal cord is like a single entity that has a variety of functions that are coordinating the peripheral nervous system to the central nervous system. We have the brain, which is actually mostly the center of the central nervous system. Now the brain is divided into forebrain, the midbrain, and hindbrain. Now the forebrain is further subdivided into telencephalon and diencephalon. Now the telencephalon contains the cerebral cortex, the basal ganglia, the hippocampus, and amygdala. Then we have the diencephalon, which contains the thalamus and hypothalamus. While the midbrain only has the mesencephalon, which actually has the tectum and tegmentum. We also have the hindbrain, which is subdivided into metencephalon and the myelencephalon. The mesencephalon contains the pons and cerebellum. Then the myelencephalon contains the medulla. So these are the subdivisions of the nervous system. In the organization, we see that these entities have particular neurons. The nerve fibers are actually called neurons. And so this central nervous system, which has been subdivided, has particular functions that they portray, and each one of them has particular tissues that they also innervate. Our attention is drawn to the peripheral nervous system, which has got the afferent and efferent system. For example, the peripheral efferent system is further divided into somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. And the somatic nervous system innervates the skeletal or the effector cells, while the autonomic nervous system innervates the smooth muscles, the cardiac muscles, the exocrine muscles, and so forth. So, which means sometimes they are said to be the visceral nervous system. In comparison, we see that the somatic nervous system mainly exerts voluntary control of skeletal muscles, although can function involuntarily. But in contrast, we see also that the autonomic nervous system mainly functions on a reflex basis, though voluntary control can be exerted at any time. However, both somatic and autonomic effectors may be also reflexly excited by nerve impulses arising from the same sensory end organs. And that means they tend to have a control on the what? They tend to have a control on the general functioning of the body. So they help in the coordination of the whole body system, either voluntarily or by reflex action. That usually helps in movement of body parts. Now the question is, as we focus on autonomic nervous system, what are the functions of the autonomic nervous system? One, the autonomic nervous system actually controls the activity of smooth muscles of all organs. Now the smooth muscles do contractions and relaxations, and they're initiated by the excitation of the autonomic nervous system. We also have the contractility and relaxation of the cardiac muscles. We have the secretion of the glands, which is under the control of autonomic nervous system. Now, how do these actions get mediated? Now, the mediation is usually out of the secretion of neurotransmitters. But in reality, these neurotransmitters help to mediate the neural control of the internal environment. And when we are talking about the control of the internal environment, we know that within the body there is need to keep the blood sugar level constant. There's also need to keep the motility and secretions of the GAT at a constant. Even we have moments of control of urinary output, the sweat, and control of temperature. These are parameters, or yes, the parameters that keep the internal environment at a constant. So, be it blood pressure, the blood sugar levels, sweat, temperature control, all these are under the control of autonomic nervous system. So in general terms, the function of autonomic nervous system is to maintain the constancy of internal environment of the body. In other words, it keeps homeostasis in function. So homeostasis, like the regulation of cardiovascular system, blood pressure, digestion, GAT motility, metabolism, secretion of exocrine glands, urinary output, sweating, and body temperature control. Look at this anatomy, just brief anatomy of the autonomic nervous system. Now, we know that from here, when you look at the picture, the brain is at the center of the central nervous system. Now connected by the spinal cord. And this spinal cord has some nuclei from which the fibers or the neurons of the parasympathetic nervous system have emerged to supply particular organs in the visceral entity or in the periphery. Then we also have the nuclei of the sympathetic nervous system that originate from the thoracic region that form ganglia and move to also innervate the different organs in the vicinity. And so, generally, we have that we have these functions that are activated by centers located in the spinal cord, brain stem, hypothalamus, and cerebral cortex, which means the nuclei of the autonomic nervous system are located in these regions. Now, anatomically or customarily, the subdivisions of autonomic nervous system have their innervations originating from different regions of the central nervous system. For example, the sympathetic nervous system, by its name, is supposed to sympathize. Now, it sympathizes with the emotions. That's why when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, it tends to prepare your body to defend yourself by fighting or to protect yourself by running away. That's why when you feel the fear incites you to run away or to fight. Sometimes you have the rage that makes you to fight. That's just for the sake of defense and protection. But parasympathetic is thought to restrain sympathetic activities, which means it opposes the activities of sympathetic. So the two act antagonistically, they oppose one another. One opposes the effect of the other. That's why currently you might be very calm, but not even thinking of anything. But if a snake dropped around, you would find yourself running around or looking for something to hit the head of this snake, meaning sympathetic nervous system would be activated. But the parasympathetic nervous system keeps you calm, like you are in peace, relaxed. That is the control of the parasympathetic nervous system. How